Welcome back to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. This week, Aubrey decided to let me come back to the show. His takeover is now complete and has decided that it works better with me, I guess. I don't know. So we're going to go and talk about LVO and jump back into all that stuff because I for some reason Aubrey thinks it went well, even though I think it was a disaster. But we'll sort that out as life goes on. So, Aubrey, how you doing? How was your? You went up to Vegas after LVO again because you're a glutton for punishment. So, are you recovered yet?
Oh God, I'm barely recovered. All I have to say is that the last night we were in Vegas, we got to experience what it's like to encounter randoms in Vegas who are showcasing all of their problems in public and trying to involve me in them. And I'm like, don't know you. Soon as casino security shows up, nope.
Yeah,
We are not friends. We did not come here together.
Fremont Street after midnight, Aubrey. Not normally a good idea. So, but
Hey,
lessons were probably learned.
the other nights I was out fairly late and it was fine. I don't know. I remember dear listeners, I am a night owl. 2 a.m. is great for me. This whole waking up and going to work at 6, 7, like for my library job. I was a janitor for like 10 years. But no,
eventually
we
you'll
went to
have
Vegas
to grow up,
because
though, Aubrey.
no, I don't. No, it is. I'm pretty sure they've also talked about that people with ADHD tend to have this problem where waking up in the morning is hard and staying awake late at night is easy, and it's the zoomies are in my brain. But
Yep.
no. So what happened is hilariously, I had one of those like timeshare things where you get like a cheap hotel and you have to go and listen to a presentation and you just say no and then no and then more no. Then you're fine. You move on. But it was scheduled for this week because Talia has school off this week. And then what did LVO do? LVO.
Yep. They moved as well.
LVO moved. So like we even considered like just getting a couple more days, but I mean it's Vegas, it's expensive, and Talia wanted to see the kids, and it was just easier logistically to come back home, reset, drive back up. I mean it's Vegas, it's Phoenix to Vegas. It's not like it's a hard drive. Although
It's like
Todd,
4 hours.
they didn't come to hear about my second trip to Vegas this week. They want to hear how LVO went. So how was our drive together that we definitely planned to do together to LVO, Todd?
Yeah, we did plan that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way because the Wednesday before LVO, the government decided to the wonderful people in Congress decided not to fund the government. So, being that I work for the government, I had to continue to work even though the government was shut down because I'm what's considered an accepted employee, which means that I get to continue to have the pleasure of working for the government, but will not get paid until the shutdown ends. So that's a whole nother wonderful thing of working for the government.
Essential.
But yeah, so
you're an,
yes.
you're an essential worker. What's an accepted? Is accepted different from essential? Wait,
yes,
what?
Yes, it is.
All this time I thought you were essential.
No,
have you been
just
lying
accepted.
to me?
Yes, I'm not essential. I'm just accepted. So basically,
what's accepted?
There's like 3 or 4 different categories of what you are during a government shutdown. There's accepted, and so I'm like second on the tier list, but what basically of employees when it comes down to it. So at the end of the day, basically what that meant was I had to work while you traveled up to LVO. Luckily, I work a 4-day schedule, so I was able to drive up after I got off of work on Thursday and was there and for the start of LVO on Friday, but I missed all of the setup and all of the troubleshooting that goes along with setting up, especially at a large convention in a new convention space. So there was, luckily, Omnis over from Rarely Reserved was there for the MCP side and is very well versed in putting out fires and things along those lines. But very well versed in putting out those fires and was able to do that. So we were good to go.
No. We got to talk. No, we got to talk about that day because I'm sorry you were not there. I was there. Omnis didn't just put out fires for Shatterpoint. Omnis put out fires for Legion, Halo, Flashpoint, Shatterpoint, MCP. What else did he fix?
I don't know. I
I'm
wasn't there.
probably
You were there.
I'm probably forgetting what. No, no, no. I'm trying to think if there was any others. But how many game systems was that I already listed? Four different game systems that Omnis got us our wireless connection because for some reason we had a wired connection for streaming, which worked better than I thought. But because they gave us a dedicated like separate modem to access, presumably. I don't. All I know is we were given a
No, they
Wi-Fi
didn't. But
code. Wait, what do you mean?
they
No, they
didn't.
didn't.
All that happened was we were on the same Wi-Fi as all the other streamers. It was
Wait,
just that
what?
we had.
That's why that
Yeah.
code didn't work at first?
No, it worked. It
Oh my
was
god. Oh
basically
my
it was
god.
like each individual streamer had an independent code for to access the modem.
Oh, you
To
just mean a
access
password? It was all the same why?
and
No wonder it was
and,
delayed.
and ID. We had an independent ID and password. So
Oh my
that
god, that's
was what
even
it
worse.
was.
That's not what they explained it to us. See, dear listeners, so many things went wrong. I don't even know all the things that went wrong. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
All right. So first off we get there. MCP doesn't have tables. Like all the tables for 40K and all the other game systems are set up in the room. Every other game system had their tables except for MCP. So that's the first thing that went wrong. We literally just commandeered tables from another area where players hadn't started setting up yet, and we're like, well, they're not here yet. In fact, that team didn't even show up till the next day, till Thursday, so it ended up being extra fine. But we're like, you're not here yet? We're here. Union guys, please come move the tables. Next, only all the 40K tables were all set up because they had this double table thing. All of the other tables didn't have the second table. So we get our playmats, we put them on the tables, and we're like,
They don't
these,
fit.
these tables are not long enough. What's going on? One of the union guys goes, no, 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 we're bringing you more tables. Except that took forever. Like we basically were just following Tyson, who's he's the individual in charge of pretty much all of our game systems. Like it's his thing. For those of you who don't know who Tyson is, like we basically just followed Tyson around, helping him with whatever he needed help with, which is fine. That's normal because he's overseeing a lot of different things all at once. He runs a vendor booth there now for Terraniacs, selling terrain and et cetera, et cetera. But basically, we wander around waiting for our tables because we can't even set up. Like the MCP guys came over and at least help us like unload our boxes of terrain, and then eventually they did set up like the generator route. Because again, if you haven't played Shatterpoint and you're trying to set up a table, you can't really set up a table. And I know at least a couple of the MCP guys I don't think really play Shatterpoint, or at least not well enough to set up a table. But they just keep wandering back and forth because remember, MCP didn't have tables, and they kept getting told, "Oh yeah, we're gonna bring your tables anytime now. Oh yeah, we're gonna bring your tables anytime now." So the MCP guys sort of help us set up terrain. We eventually get our second tables. They eventually steal their tables when it becomes obvious that they aren't getting their tables. We get almost everything set up Wednesday. Almost. I think we still had the Camino table, and I think like the extra not learn to play. We weren't doing learn to play. The extra free play area was the only thing that was like not finished setting up. But we knew roughly how many players we were going to have because we didn't have any more signups. Until the morning of, Todd. Until the morning of when some more people figured out they needed to sign up. But we had everything set up, although I did go through all of the numbered tables and double check the mats twice. And the second time I went through, I found a bunch of mats, like 4 or 5, that were turned the wrong direction. And I'm like, oh, dear God. So then I had to pick them all up. That's important because when we added 2 more players on Friday, what didn't I do? I didn't check the free play area because I was like, I'm tired. I'm done. It was one of the last things I did. I'm like, that's the free play area. If it's wrong, they can figure it out. Except then we added 2 more players, and table 22 was also rotated 90 degrees the wrong direction. Why, Todd? Why?
Double
Oh,
check
and the
everything. That's
playmats
the moral of the story. Double check everything.
and the playmats stretched, so the markers were slightly off by like
Yeah, like a
barely
what?
on
Yeah,
some
like
of
a
them.
quarter. Like on some of them, maybe a quarter of an inch or something like that. I mean, the one thing was is like even though I think it was probably more of like the cut was probably like a quarter of an inch off or something like that. So the deployment's just back a little bit farther than it should be. I mean, but in my way of looking at it is you just change where you deploy from. Just don't deploy from the mat edge.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was weird. I shouldn't say they were like off. Oh, they were all off because internally they were consistent between each
Yeah.
other. But if you measured from deployment on some of the mats, it got a little weird, and so we
Mm.
kept having to explain to players, no, 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 check the deployment. You need to tweak that. But we
Yeah.
got through that. That's another Tarantino thing. So Thursday was better. Thursday was better because we were mostly set up. I had to just run around and check every table and make sure scatter. Like I got to do the check, finish setting up the free play area. We fortunately had extra tables because they planned for us to have 64, but again, because that's what we expected before the change in date. So Halo Flashpoint took one row of our tables because even though they were on the side, they were not on the floor plan. Let's see. Legion famously had to take two, I think, two of our tables to play Legion. Again, we're like, hey, we got extra tables. Good for you. Also, why didn't they set up more tables for you? Where are the rest of your tables? Your event was very large and you are an established game. Like, I get why Halo Flashpoint got forgotten because it's a brand new baby game, but they didn't give Legion enough tables. Like, come on. Like, Legion's definitely the biggest Star Wars game that was there. They're bigger than ours, I'm pretty sure. Well, anyway,
Probably.
whatever. So, Thursday. Chris, the purest of Christophers, is bringing the streaming equipment down. I just have to wait for him to arrive. Not that I'm upset. Thank you, Chris. I'm just waiting for him to arrive. I eventually go and play a disastrous game with Omnis where on turn one, Todd, he wounds Kanan on the center point because we were playing shifting with 7 Scorch. Turn 3, he wounded Mando. The Mandalorian. Because I was playing a Kanan Mando list for fun list with Clan Kreese and Sabine, just because Omnis and I have a thing with Clan Kreese. I bullied him the first LVO, and so now I brought it back. He wounded the Mandalorian with, was it Boss? Was it? I don't even remember. But I am starting the game Struggle 1 with both my primaries wounded.
Nice.
Yeah, that game did not go well for Aubrey. Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, you can ask Ominous about the rest of it because I don't remember. Because oh yeah, you know what happened in the middle of the game? The streaming equipment showed up, so I had to be like, Ominous, pause. Izzy and I could go set up the streaming equipment because again, it was just Izzy and myself. Like, thank you, Izzy. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, Todd. Because you came up late, there was supposed to be 5 of us there. It was Izzy, Angel, Jason, you, me. Instead, Izzy, thank you guys for coming because it was tough. But instead, Izzy and I, by ourselves, well, and the MCP guys a little bit, set up everything. So Izzy and I stop what we're doing because he was also testing the table. He decided to play a game with I don't know, Andrew, or I don't know. A lot of the guys had rolled in by this point, so he was testing the streaming table, make sure it was good. I was playing on Omnis's table, so like yes, were we playing fun Shatterpoint? Yes, but we were also trying to test the stream table and the recording table to make sure that like we didn't really mess up the terrain, even though the plan was to break it down and keep reconfiguring it. We wanted to make sure those tables were good and no weirdness with them. So like this is also that even playing the game was setting up and making sure everything was okay.
Mm.
So get all of that set up, do that. The rest of Thursday is actually pretty chill. People are just kind of hanging out, so we think everything's good. Because the problem is we can't test any of the streaming equipment. Why couldn't we test any of the streaming equipment, Todd?
Yeah, because my laptop was still at home.
And I, of course, I admit I usually bring my laptop just as a backup plan, but I had to cram all of the terrain into my little Prius. And so I was so focused on making sure I had my luggage and the terrain that I just spaced. I didn't even bring my laptop, so I couldn't even pull up OBS and at least, do the backup setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I had COVID the weekend before LVO. So like
Oh
my
my
brain,
god.
my brain was kind of in a fog. Like it just,
You
I just
sent me
happened.
s- you sent me so many good reminders though. There were so many things you're like, ask Tyson about this. Ask Tyson about this. Go tell Omnis to do this. And I'm like, thank you, Senpai.
Yeah. So I mean, I tried to remember and be as helpful as I could from a couple hundred miles away. But yeah, it was kind of a getting to the point where the convention was ready to be run and the games ready to be played. I think was behind the scenes there was a lot of scrambling going on just because of like I said, a lot of little things. Me having COVID, the government shutting down, and me not being able to go up, and us not being able to have my truck, which would normally carry all of the terrain and all of the bags. Like it was a little bit of
And all of
a
the
hectic,
people.
and all the people, yeah. So it was a little more hectic of a start for the thing. But I mean, we ended up, and then I ended up coming up Thursday night, and we ended up getting there. So that was, getting to the point where okay, now we have all of the stuff that we need to run the tournament and for the convention go off. Another thing.
No, no, no. I just want to point out, Todd, because I know some things on streaming first day were a little wibbly wobbly. Notably, first off, we just completely forgot to use Eyes in the Sky, which is a person who uh, stands between the streamers and the players and relays information. Why didn't we do that, Todd? I have an answer for you. What do we normally do the day before?
Yeah, we do a test stream. Like
We
that
do
was
a
my
test
whole
stream.
plan. That was my whole plan was to like on Thursday was like you and Omnis usually play a game at LVO. So the plan, like my plan before all the shutdown happened was to go up there and really just do a test game of you two and just kind of live stream that on Thursday. Of course, that wasn't going to happen. So, it is what
Right.
it is. I mean, like
Right.
at the end of the day, I mean, the event went off. We got there. I think there was a lot of hiccups along the way behind the scenes. I hope it didn't come across too much in the on the front end of it, like on the like for the players and everything like that. But we'll wait to see feedback and everything along those lines from the players.
Yeah, yeah. I'll put together the same survey that we had for first LVO about the actual event. What I will say, and dear listeners, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I got overwhelmingly good feedback. I got good feedback about the terrain. I got good feedback about the event. I know everybody thought I was really stressed on Thursday, but hey, here is a mental health PSA, everyone. Therapy is awesome. You know what else is awesome? Bringing your anxiety meds. You know what Aubrey forgot and didn't bring with him? And then Talia, who also came to help us but couldn't come till Friday because work and she had to bring me my anxiety meds. So if I seem extra grumpy on the first day of the GT, I'm sorry. I was going through life unaided by the thing that keeps me from spinning in my head out of control the entire time. So I think frankly that Friday went amazing because I had no help in my little brain the entire day.
Yeah, it was a little rough. I mean, there was at one point in time, I'm like, I pulled you off the floor, and you're like, I'm fine. I don't need to come off the floor. I'm like, okay, well, I'm still gonna have you do the stream.
Well,
I think
well,
afterwards you came back. You're like, okay, that might have been a good idea.
well, I will just say, I all right. One, my only complaint, and anyone who was there knows that it was a complaint, and I even had to talk to one of our locals and have this conversation like one on one with him because he was having kind of a string of bad occurrences, like maybe slow play. Like I'm not gonna actually say there was slow play. Weird little contentious things that were happening, and it wasn't just him. There was other players. There was at least every round I would hear from like about I want to say about 3 people where something happened in their game. They didn't call a judge, It affected the rest of their game. And then they came and talked to me about it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to say after I yelled it at them every single round? Oh, and by the way, it was on the table reference cards to ask what, Todd? What did
Yeah,
I
call
have
for
to
a
say every
judge.
round?
Yeah, if you have something going on, call for a judge. I mean, and I think that's just a common. I mean, I don't think that's something that will ever go away. Some people just don't feel comfortable with calling a judge. I mean, and that's like one of those things where I think, like I said, we were all of the little hiccups that happened on Wednesday and Thursday kind of led to where we weren't where I would have wanted to be probably as far as judging. I think like that's kind of one of those reasons why I am constantly walking as frequently as I am, is because sometimes people just because they see me will grab me. And having the two newer guys with us that aren't used to that constant walking around, and being there to just be that person to grab, I think that might have caused a little bit of
No,
might
Todd.
might
They
have
were
helped a little
walking
bit.
around.
Okay, I mean I don't know.
They were walking around. They had lightsabers. In fact, I gave them
Oh, that's
lightsabers
right.
so that they would feel extra comfortable walking around. So they walked around with lightsabers. No, sorry,
No, I
Todd.
don't.
You
Okay.
you did that. You did that. Uh, Todd, I will remind you there. Yes, I did not have my anxiety meds. Yes, I was very stressed from having to do all of this setup by myself. So yes, was I the friendliest I normally am, the happiest I normally am? No, I wasn't. But also, one of the players had a judge this was what, the second day, was it the second day?
Hmm.
I don't remember. One of the tables, literally, this story was relayed to me afterwards. Talia, who is also one of our judges, yes, she doesn't play Shatterpoint very much, but she knows, you know what she does have? An excellent working memory. I might play Shatterpoint a lot, but my working memory is terrible. So she just remembers the rules because she learned them. She was standing right there, and one of the players said out loud, "Should we ask the judge?" And the other player said no. And she was standing there, and she's like, okay, because we're not really, a judge isn't really supposed to intervene and stop your game unless, I don't know, there's about to be a fist fight or something. Like,
Yeah.
our job in Shatterpoint is not, as a judge, is, and this has been set up since Adepticon, because I didn't get it at first either. I was super annoyed at it at the first Adepticon. I'm like, why aren't the judges handling this stuff? But AMG has said you're supposed to intervene when asked.
Yeah.
You're not really supposed to tell you messed up.
Yeah.
So,
You
like, unless we
you
think you're cheating, and that doesn't happen that often, thankfully.
no. I mean that is one of the things we don't really like I what's his name? I cannot remember his name. Chris from Adepticon. I mean he would always say judges are like vampires. We won't join the game unless we're invited in. I mean, so that's kind of like the general consensus of it is, unless you invite us into the game and ask us and ask us to sit there and a question related to your game, we're not going to just step in. So I mean, and I think we make that pretty clear. But I mean, at the same time, there's still a comfort level of asking the judge and everything along those lines. So eventually, hopefully, people will become a little more comfortable with that, and as they play the games and everything like that, because it isn't a bad thing to call the judge, but we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, I feel bad for the individuals that they felt like their tournament didn't go the way it should have because they didn't get a call but like at the same time it's like you gotta just call us. Like, even if you think, I mean, and I think I've said it multiple times. Like, even if it's one of those where, hey, you just have to take a break, walk away from the table and find a judge and say and
Hmm.
talk to them. If you don't want to sit there and make it look like you're having like calling someone out for doing something wrong. Sometimes it's just as simple as walking over to the judge saying, "Hey, I need to ask you a question," and then you can walk over and go from there. I mean, it's there's a lot of different ways to handle it. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes going forward. I mean, we don't have another major tournament coming up that we're going to be running for quite a while. So, but I mean, there are more grand tournaments coming up too. So those that are going to those tournaments, always feel, make sure you're comfortable enough to sit there and call a judge if it's something that you're unsure about. I mean, that's not saying that you're, calling someone out and saying someone's wrong. Is you're like, I look at it as a way of your clarifying a game state with a neutral third party.
Right. And let me tell you, you can call us for what you might think is a dumb question. You know what? There are no dumb questions. You know what they are? Is feeling really dumb because you didn't ask and you feel like it mattered. Like that's the only because you know what? I have had players come up and ask me like I need a hunker token to get cover, right? Because it's like round 4 of the event. They've been playing Shatterpoint for 8 hours. They're getting
Mm-hmm.
tired, and they're like, "I need this, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, you're good, buddy." You know what? You know what a judge loves? Easy questions. If
Yep.
I have to come over and remind you how scale works, please, please ask me that question because I got some of the oddest questions and and sometimes you may not like a ruling. You can always ask for a second opinion. That's fine too. These things happen because I got some oddball questions, stuff where I had to go deep into the forum and find the answer, and it took several minutes. And sometimes players are like, "Oh, I don't want to wait for that. We're just going to decide to rule it this way and move on." Okay, well, yeah, that's if you both are in agreement, we're just going to move on. But most of the questions I just get asked are, "Is it in or is it out?"
Mm-hmm.
Famously, shot heard around the world the last day of the event. During Donovan and Chris's game, I'm jumping ahead. I had to get from someone because all they had were the acrylic range 2 tools, and I usually keep one of the plastic original range 2 tools in my kit. Like I have a judge kit where I have like a 40 mil base, a 50 mil base, like extra measurement stuff, right? And for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, my plastic range 2 tool wasn't in there. I always just thought it was, well, this is the default tool. This is the best way to do it as a judge. No, no, no. Turns out the acrylic tool had like shaved off like the edge of the acrylic tool, the I don't know what you call it. It's not really paint, but the image on the tool had shaved off and to the clear plastic on both Donovan and Chris's range 2 tool on both
Mm-hmm.
ends to the point where when I was looking down at it, I was looking through clear plastic and I couldn't tell if it was in or out. Like that's how close it was to being in or being out. I don't even remember what I called. I bet those two do. But I had to tell somebody, bring me an opaque tool so that I can determine if this is in or out because I can't see. Because like I flipped the range 2 tool, right? Because like I knew it was touching the one model. I couldn't tell with the other. So I flipped it, placed it, and the other end was worn off. These two got to stop playing so much Shatterpoint. They playing so much Shatterpoint. Their range tools are getting worn down to the nubbies.
Well,
Like
they
stop
made they
winning so much, guys.
well, the thing was they won so much though that they got new range tools. So because they were the top two, so it works itself out when you play that much. You might wear your tools out, but you end up replacing them with new shinier tools.
Right. Right. But my point is that most of what we do as judges is serve as a neutral arbiter and say yes it's in, no it's out, or yes you can move around this, no you can't. Did you talk about this terrain part? Did you talk about the high ground door? Like most of what we do. Also, by other PSA, I'm gonna rearrange the cards so that they read in the correct order. But y'all need to read the reminder notes I give you. Like come on, they're really cool. Damio Matt came up with the idea. It's not even my idea. Read the card. I got more than one question about something that was on that card, and I'm like, did
Some
you?
people aren't going to do
Did
it.
you?
I mean, it's there.
Did you
Yeah.
do the? Yeah, but did you do the turn 0 talk or not, guys? Like I only
I mean,
reminded you like
I know you
every
talk about
round.
it, Aubrey, but just because you ask someone to do it doesn't mean they're going to. You're just going to have to deal with it. So,
Oh no, I'm aware, Todd. I'm aware. But let's see. Let's talk about the others. So I mean the GT. I think we got a lot of good feedback about splitting up the days because it gave people a chance to take a break, to rest. I know the schedule is going to be a little different because we're adding other things to next LVO, but like we got good feedback about the schedule. Um, some of the players who were there, who were the ones that had given us negative feedback at Smite Club, gave me positive feedback about the tables at LVO. So even though there was only two of us setting up, apparently I also
We
had
lessons learned. Lessons learned.
I well no, I also made table setup checklists, which Omnis ignored. Thanks, Omnis. But not that I'm not worried about Omnis. He just looked at it and went, "I'm not reading that." I'm like, "Fine." I'm calling you out a little bit on that one because I'm like, "All right, you could go figure out Fractured City and generate a room all by your onesie." Um, but like I had table setup docs so that we didn't forget things. I think that went very well when they got used. Um, let's see what else about the GT. I mean, after you left Todd, we just I'm just trying to finish the GT. I'll talk about the two other events. Yeah, after you left Todd, the stream decided to stop audio, meanwhile, mind you, I was eyes in the sky, so I was very focused on the game. I don't know how Izzy didn't notice everyone in chat saying the audio was down, but what, whatever. We eventually got that sorted. Thank you, Hunter from he's from
Planet Two.
Planet 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Planet. I guess there's too many podcasts now. I'm like, which name? Hunter, because I'm like, I know OBS. Do I know OBS well enough to troubleshoot this in like a minute? No, not really. So I literally pulled him out of the team event and said, Hunter, I know you know, because I've talked to him a couple of times about streaming and TOing behind the scenes stuff. Like, thank you, Hunter. I'm like, come here, buddy. How do we troubleshoot this? Because I knew it was a common thing because it's happened to you before, but I couldn't remember what you did, Todd. So Hunter's like, oh yeah, you got to go to this setting in this place. He's like, this has happened to me like half a dozen times. I don't know why OBS does this. Click, 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 click. He had it fixed in like 3 minutes. The worst part was just that nobody noticed that audio went down for who knows how long. So that
Yeah.
like
It was funny because I was driving home with Angel, and Angel had on his phone the stream going on, and all of a sudden it's just like, what happened? There's no audio. So like, and like, we're like sending messages. I even sent you a text message, I think, asking, like,
well,
"Hey, where's
right,
the audio?"
but I was doing
Yeah.
eyes, so it's like not like I was looking at my phone. I was looking at the game.
Right.
So so like that was a thing. But overall, the actual event, I got nothing but great feedback on. Was the stream troublesome? Yes, it was. The fact that we didn't get chance to practice the stream, yeah,
Yeah.
was some of the commentary on the first day probably poor because we didn't have eyes on the skies. I don't know. I was running the event and yelling at players for not for not. I was yelling at players for not coming and yelling at me. If you're mad
Right.
about something, come yell at the judge. That's my job. I don't care if you get mad at me. If it's something silly, you might see a look on my face when I don't have my anxiety meds, but that's a different thing. But so let's see the three mirror. Everybody seemed to be pretty happy. Although I think some players just enjoyed the break. They liked GT break. That
Yeah.
was that was what they liked. And then the team event ended up being a lot smaller than I was expecting. But I feel like a lot of people went and did the party game on Saturday night, and so
Yeah.
Sunday they just rested. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's
that's
fine. I mean, it seemed
is
like
what
there
it
was
is.
either top eight, and I think we had like, well, I got it right in front of me. We had six
Five
teams,
teams,
12 players, six teams,
six
12
teams.
players. So I mean, it's that's 20 players for the last day. Three Mirror had 30 players. Like there was quite a few people in Three Mirror that decided. Like I know Chris Pierce of Christopher's, he after because we had the last round of the GT Swiss on Saturday morning, and then the Three Mirror after that. And Chris was basically like, "Well, you know what? I don't want to. I want to just have a break." So he hung out and watched people play and just kind of like, but it gave him that rest. I mean, and I think for some people that might have been what they were there to play the GT and win the title. And I think for those guys and having that option that worked out well for him to have that break after there. So I don't know. I mean, I think I'm gonna play. I was already playing around with the schedule because I think next year will be a little bit bigger. and I'm also trying to figure out if, since they opened the doors on Thursday, does that mean we can run an event on Thursday or start running things on Thursday, or do we wait again until Friday? So there's a lot of questions that still to be answered of like what LVO 2026 is going to look like. But I mean, overall, it was interesting to kind of like play around with the schedule there. I'm glad to hear that like some people liked having that break in between the GT and the finals, the top eight. So we'll see.
Yeah. The the other thing that we were not expecting, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but FLG didn't give us trophies last time, did they?
They did. They didn't give them until the last minute. I ended up having to mail. Like I mailed it out to Scott.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. So
So
there was
they were a
also
little bit
like
better
we.
about it this time around of getting the trophies to us earlier.
Oh, okay. So that's why I don't remember that. All right. So that did happen. So I mean, we had extra prize. Well, I guess not extra prize support. I guess it was just timely prize support. But
Mm.
there was a lot of different things that we ended up giving away. We did best faction, which again, that was it Hunter that helped us with that too? I think it was Hunter who did the math on that,
No, I believe it was Evan.
or was it Sean?
Wasn't it
No, it
Evan?
wasn't
I could have
Evan.
sworn. I don't know.
Uh-uh.
I don't know that. I thought I could
Pretty
have
sure it
sworn you
was.
told me Evan.
No, it was either. So, hey, you know what? Shout outs to the community because a lot of things could have gone wrong, but Omnis helped us out. I know. Doug even, Dork Esquire, he even helped just a couple of like little things. I'm sorry, I don't even remember what they were, but I know you helped Doug. Hunter helped us out. I mean, reminder that Angel and Jason are still relatively new to the game, and they did a fine job judging. There was only a couple of times where they like came over to me. They're like, "Hey, I don't understand what they're asking me," and I'm like, "Okay, let me come over. I got this." Because it was always weird, obscure. Like, there's only two, as near as I can tell, there's only two kinds of Shatterpoint calls. There are, is it in or is it out? I'm really tired, or slash, I'm really tired and I don't remember basic rules. Or what's this obscure thing that was only answered once a year and a half ago by Thoris on the forum in like 2023? Good luck, go.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Why me?
Right. So there was a lot going on there. I mean, I mean, but I think, like I said, overall, it went well. Like I said, I think there's always room for improvement. That's just me and my way of thinking about it. But it went well. I'm excited for the challenge to improve the podcast, the event, and see what we can do to fix, like not fix it, but maybe improve. And like I said, I've already been kind of in the tank about that. Like I pulled out the notepad for LVO 2026 and started taking notes of things that I thought of that can be improved. I mean, the big first and foremost, trying to get, like, I'll talk to my congressman about not shutting down the government in October, and see how that works. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, talk. The biggest thing that needed to be improved was something that unless you have $1 billion sitting around somewhere that I don't know about, I'm not sure you could fix the federal government's state of functioning. I don't think you can fix that, Todd. That if you
Probably not.
can, please do. Like we like, if you have that power, like can you get on this?
It would be nice. I don't see that happening, but yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and then just not getting to practice the stream. Like usually we
yeah.
set everything up, we kick the tires, we run a stream. Instead, we had to do the stream live. Mind you, hey Todd, how many times have we streamed LVO?
This will be the first one. Yeah.
Okay, how many times have we TO'd and streamed an event simultaneously?
None. We recorded and ran an event simultaneously, so there was kind of that. But yeah, so it was.
Nope. Is that streaming?
No, I mean, but like I said, there's
Hmm.
definitely,
Hmm.
like I said, there's definitely room for improvement, though. I mean, that's kind of
This
one of
is
the things
me.
that I'm looking at. Yeah,
This
no,
is
you
me
trying to
grilling
put the
Todd,
positive
everyone.
twist on it. Yeah, trying to put the positive twist on it, but I'm not going to take your bait. I'm going to stay in my negative little world. That's what I
Yeah.
do.
Let's see. Let's see. How often have we had an event that we planned for get moved up by about 6 months, and also we're going to stream NTO for the first time? How many times
Yeah,
has that happened?
at least six. At least I
Oh,
think it
oh, zero. Oh,
might have been
zero is
closer
what I'm
to
hearing.
10.
Oh,
But
and
yeah,
last but not least, how many times while doing all of those things has the entire government shut down and you were forced to not arrive until 2 days later than you planned?
15. I remember I counted this like right afterwards 15 times. But no. But no, I
So,
mean like I said,
so the
there were
players,
some challenges.
the players, did they say anything to you about the event being garbage or things being wrong
At
or
least 13 of them did, yes. They're like, you are the
13 of
worst
them?
TO. Yes, they're like, you are the worst TO I have ever met in my life.
Uh,
I am going to petition Frontline Gaming to remove you permanently. Yep. I had
oh,
that at least
oh,
13 times.
oh yeah, I'm hearing zero. The about the only quote unquote negative feedback that was technically related to something we did is I'm sorry, Matt Booker, you're absolutely right. The players packet was still wrong in a couple of places. Except
Mm.
we sent like 15 edits over to FLG and we had to talk back and forth a few times to get it right. So I'm
Well,
sorry
and then
we
the
missed a
player packet
couple.
also, yeah. I mean, and I didn't get access to like edit it until it was like probably too late to worry about it, and
Yeah.
everything along those lines.
Eh,
So I mean, that's one of those. Again, there's a lot of logistical stuff on the back end that I think we will definitely work out. Like I said, there was a lot of learning curve. I mean, moving this up by 4 months on top of all of the other things, there was a lot to it. So I mean, I think we've learned some lessons. So my hope is that next year will be better, and we'll go from there. So I don't know. It's overall,
all,
I think, like I said, overall, I think it went well.
all I will say is that we might have been internally screaming for 3 days straight, Todd, but the players, I think, had a good time. And you could tell me if I'm wrong, but we might have been freaking out, but I think all the players were happy. The three mirror went well. Everybody seemed to like that, although we had to explain what three mirror was to some people. It's just Premiere, but you only have to play three squads, and like the team event was maybe a little lower attended, so like we could tweak. We're already, like Todd said, we're already looking at the schedule. We're already going to tweak some things, see if what we can do to make it work. We might have more options with Thursday afternoon, although I know the other feedback I got is some people are like, hey, can we even just like switch this around so I could just fly in Friday morning? And I'm like, Todd will work his magic with the notebook. but
Yeah, it's
but
kind of difficult to do
overall,
that.
I know. I'm just giving you player
Hmm.
feedback. I'm
I
doing it
know.
live, so you can't be like Aubrey didn't say it. Anyway, so Todd, new topic, entirely new topic. What were your favorite experiences? Just give me one or two or three, or what do you? What did you do that was fun at LVO? Don't you remember? We're supposed to be having fun while we do this. Was yours
Man,
sleeping in bed?
yeah, I mean that like it was. Like I said, I was by the time I tested myself right before I drove up and tested negative for COVID, but this version of it like hit hard. I've had COVID 5 times now. This is no, like lucky number five for me.
Yeah, it's trying to come after you.
Yeah, I just am super susceptible to it or something. I don't know. But this one, like the after effects of it were probably as strong as like the first time I had COVID, like back during the initial surge of the virus.
Right, the
So like I
fatigue
was,
afterwards.
yeah, the fatigue, the lung pain, the sore throat, like a lot of those after effects, those residuals from it were just lingering like really hard. So like I still was not probably like 100% in the best of places physically. But I mean, as far as like what I enjoyed, I totally did enjoy like a lot of the games on stream. There were some really fun games to just watch play. The semifinal game between Chris and Evan, that coming down to the wire was just like so intense and so fun to watch. I think that for me that was a lot of it. I mean, the dinner that we had at Claim Jumpers with everyone was just. I think that was probably the other big highlight because I got to sit with I had Mr. Pink on one side and then Magalator and oh gosh, I forget who was sitting next to him. But basically, we just had some great conversations going the entire time, hanging out and just that was a good time because like Omnis was there. I believe Danny showed up for a little while too. So just a nice little group of like there was like what 16 of us just hanging out at the goal at Claim Jumpers there and the Nugget. So I think like those two like kind of stand out to me as far as like that Saturday was that Saturday night dinner or was that Friday? No, that was Friday night dinner.
Yeah, yeah, because no, that sounds right. Because I remember, because one of those nights, Omnis and I were getting into it about like game design and how tournament and communication and stuff. So, love you, buddy. I know I get loud and opinionated. It's shocking.
No, really?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. So my favorite experience. Well, okay, all right. So first off, while I've interacted with Danny before, I never really got a chance to like hang out with Danny that much, like not in
And
like
see
a
how
giant group
he's
setting.
such a wonderful person. I love him
Oh my god,
so
that was
much.
so much fun.
Yeah.
So I think my theme here is kind of like the people I got to meet because like Evan hung out with us a lot, and let's see, I think wasn't Doug was with us
They
one
were
night. The
around.
problem is yeah, the problem is like we basically ate at the Golden Nugget, like the the steakhouse that was there and the claim jumper, and so like we were in those locations multiple times over the 5 days. So I'm like, wait, which night was it that we were doing this with this group, and it's starting to all blur together. But bottom line, got to meet Sin from Rarely Reserved. She's awesome. Go listen to them. So like that, like just I guess the people and the hangouts and
Mhm.
like talking about Star Wars, talking about Shatterpoint, talking about silly things. Because I know uh, we tried to go to like the after party, but then it turned out it really wasn't like an official after party. It's just Vegas, and some place had an after party, quote unquote. So whatever, we ended up just going back and getting food and drinks at the Golden Nugget again, and like that was a lot of fun just hanging out. I know you unfortunately missed out on some of that as well, which
Yeah, well,
stinks.
like again
But
with the government shutdown, I had to be back at work Monday morning. Going back to like the different statuses, my status would get downgraded if I wasn't actually at the office on Monday. So basically, it was one of those where I had to sit there and leave early so I could be ready to go to work first thing Monday morning. So I was not able to hang out for the after party, and that's kind of to your point of like the fun parts of like the convention. Like it's I think the games are cool, but I think it's the memories that you get hanging out with other people that really are what make the convention. I mean, and that's like with our community between MCP and Shatterpoint. There's a lot of crossover there, and it was nice to see like all of those people. I know Arizona locally, we're probably going to start seeing a little bit more crossover, probably with the Legion guys, because I'm working with them for like other to bring them into the fold with like some of the other things that we run. So we'll probably see, that way all the AMG games, especially in Arizona, probably start like collectively working together to sit there and have a good cohesive community internally. So we'll see. I mean, but like I said, we'll see what happens with all that. But I mean, do you have any other thoughts on LVO?
just that it was nice to see how positive the community was. Because,
Hmm.
all right, all sugarcoating aside, yes, several things did go wrong. Todd is not wrong. A lot of it was behind the scenes, and most people didn't even realize that that many things went wrong because it was happening behind the scenes, which is great. I like when problems happen off screen, on screen. But I got so many help from so many different people, like to the point where, like I was saying, I'm like, Doug helped me with something. I don't even remember what it was because there were so many little things that needed help with. And while we had enough hands on deck by, say, Friday night, once Talia showed up and was helping with the mats and taking some of the pressure off, like that's why I didn't want to switch on Friday, because I was just feeling if I tried to switch gears, I didn't know if I had the bandwidth to think about the game a different way. I mean, it
Hmm.
worked out, but the community did a great job of being helpful, being what I'm used to seeing. That like this is a what does AMG say about their game? It's not competitive, it's collaborative, or they have some
Yeah,
word they use where it's
it's a
like this
collaborative.
is this. yeah, this is you are working together with your opponent to get a good result in the game. And I feel like our community, because a lot of at this point I recognize a lot of you. I might not always remember your names, guys, sorry. But I recognize your faces. I know of you. It's in my brain somewhere. And everybody just kind of came together and we got a good result together. And I know
Yeah.
Todd wants to be the dad and have everything be great all by his onesie, but this was proof that, if things go sideways, the community's gonna rally and we're gonna have a good event anyway.
Yeah. Like I said, at the end of the day, I think that it went well. Um, like I said, I mean, but I'm always looking for where can I improve, where can I get better. I mean, so but that's just a me thing, for sure. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, LVO went great. Before we close out, I definitely want to give shout outs to like all of the upcoming events because we're in the home stretch of the 2025-2026 season.
Yep.
So to finish out this year, basically there's the for at least for Shatterpoint anyway, next weekend. So basically, like probably by the time this airs, like in 2 or 3 days from the time that this actually goes live, you're gonna have the Sci-Fi Invitational. That one's probably sold out. So at this point in time, I know there was a wait list. So Kenny and the guys from Zion's Finest are going to be running their invitational up at Salt Lake City, which isn't an invitational, but they like to call it an invitational because it sounds more prestigious or something like that. But you can go up and play in their non-invitational invitational if you're there. So good luck to everybody playing in that one. Then also PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia is coming up at the end of November. Like so, I think that's probably like right before Thanksgiving, maybe right after. I'm assuming that's a Matt from Rogue Support running that one over there because that's his area. He's the Philly area guy, so I would assume that that's going to be him. Then we also have, I think Everwinter's the next one after that. Yeah, Everwinter in December 6th. That's up in Massachusetts, like the Boston area. There, I don't think they had Legion or Shatterpoint up there before. I think last year's Everwinter was just MCP. So they're adding Legion and
Yeah.
Shatterpoint in December. And that's the last one for 2025. The only thing that's on the calendar for 2026 is, again, locally here in April 12th at Gamers Guild. They have all three systems, also MCP, Shatterpoint, and Legion are going to be here, but that will be after Adepticon. So I'm assuming you're going to have Adepticon, which is going to be your Worlds, and then I don't think many people will be traveling for that one because that's right after Adepticon. But if you are in like the
Right.
area, that store is amazing to go to for people that have come to it. So that'll be a fun event as well. But I think that's going to be more of a local one just because of the timing of that.
Yep, makes sense. And I mean, we're going into the holidays. We know there's always a lull. Like we usually take a programming break for like 3-ish weeks during the holidays at the
Mm.
library because just people aren't coming to events. They're
Right.
doing the family thing. They're doing the thing with their kids. They've got other stuff going on. So this is normal. I know everyone's like, oh no, there's no major events for 6 months. Well, hey, run a local run a local tournament. Talk to your LGS.
Yeah.
Like I think Izzy and I are talking about. I guess we're doing the thing. Where like three inventors around the world are all trying to invent the same thing at the same time. We might have to have Izzy on and talk about his new game format. But he and Omnis both went. I came up with this idea. Like we're talking to each other at dinner about a new Shatterpoint format, and I'll let them talk about it. But bottom line, they came up with a cool idea, but they're like, I came up with this idea. No, I came up with this idea. And I'm like, guys, I'm pretty sure you just came to the same conclusion at exactly the same time. Like
Right.
you could both have credit. It's all right. But
Yeah. There's. I
yeah,
mean,
so
there's a lot
run
of bit
run a
different.
local event.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things. Like, I want to start over the next couple months, especially because like we're gonna have a lull in releases, a lull in events and stuff like that. Probably gonna start bringing some people from like other communities on to kind of talk about what they're doing, maybe help promote their communities and stuff like that. So I've been talking with a couple people about doing something like that too. But I'm excited to see kind of where we go post 2025, where this game grows and everything along those lines. But yeah, other than that, pretty excited for the future of the game. And like I said, LVO, like I said, I know self reflection wise, I'm always going to look for what I did wrong first before what I did right. So I mean, I know that's just me, and the person that I am. But I mean, yep, any other closing thoughts for you?
No, just that, hey, Todd, thank you for even coming, because one of the options we seriously talked about, like, we didn't know if you were going to be well in time. We didn't know if like what was going on with the shutdown exactly. Like, we came up with like 3 or 4 different versions of this plan, and one of them was Todd stays home. So
Todd
I
says,
mean,
I'm done. Forget it.
well, no, because we were doing the math and we're like, if this happens and that happens, can you even get here? And at that point, is there any point in you getting here? Like, we even talked about not doing the stream at all because we knew we weren't going to be quite prepared enough. Like, I mean it, everyone. If we seemed stressed at LVO, it's because we were stressed at LVO. I am not trying to say that we weren't, but you know what? Everything went well enough considering all of the horrible variables that were involved.
Yeah, yeah. No, it went well. But yeah, I mean, like as always, I want to sit there and finish up by thanking all of our patrons for everything that you guys do. You definitely help us with getting to LVO and getting all of the stuff done that we did, and trying to get our stream off. We tried our best to sit there and give you a decent show, but we definitely appreciate you guys and everything that you do. That is the best way to support us. But I know that's not for everyone. If you want to support the show, you can rate and review the podcast on whatever podcast platform you are listening to us on. Or if you are watching us on the YouTubes, you can like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think about the episode. But other than that, Aubrey, you know what? The most LVO thing you can do is get COVID in the middle of a government shutdown and drive up last minute to LVO.
Yes, you met. Yes, that is the most LVO thing you could do. Yep. I got no notes. Or interact with strangers on Fremont Street after midnight.
Yeah, neither one is suggested. Have a good one, guys.
May the force be with you.